Have you ever said to yourself or to a friend, hey, I just want to retire. I wonder when I can retire. I wonder when I can be financially free. Maybe you're just fed up and you're thinking, how can I get more cash flow into what I do so that I can do the things that I absolutely love and adore every single day? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down for you the 8 levels of financial freedom. Once you understand what those 8 levels of financial freedom are and where you are positioned right now on that journey, I can promise you this: it will help you to elevate to the next level faster and more efficiently than you ever thought possible. So there's 8 levels to financial freedom, and once I learned this and discovered it, it really accelerated my financial and my business growth, just because I was aware that I wasn't yet in the position that I wanted to be financially. And then I accelerated through the levels and I became financially free, meaning that work for me now becomes an option and not an obligation. So consider, as we go through this video, these 8 levels, where are you on the journey? What do you need to do next in order to elevate? And if you get value from this video, do us a favor, consider subscribing by tapping that little red button in the corner in order so that we can deliver more creative and innovative content just like this, and you will be first to know about it. So let's get into the levels. Number 1 is F, and it spells out freedom. F is for faith. That is, you don't have any money of your own. That is, you are ultimately having the faith that somebody else is going to support you. Now, we all start here. We are all starting out as babies. Nobody comes out of the womb and like, I'm rich, bitch. No, it doesn't happen. Okay? What happens is, the first person that holds you as a child is who? It is not even your parents, it's a nurse. Ask yourself the question, is the nurse typically financially successful? Answer, no. Second person that holds you, usually your parents. Now, if you come from an environment where I grew up, usually parents, as loving, as caring, as supportive as they are, not usually financially free or successful. And then you go into this amazing place called school, and then you think, oh, there must be some financially successful people around here. And the answer is no, because the teachers that teach you, as wholesome, as giving, as kind, as caring, as intelligent as they are, they're not financially successful. And you grow up and then you go to the place called university, you think, oh, there must be some senior lecturers. They must have been doing it for decades. They must be making some dough. And the answer is no, they don't. They're not financially successful. So you've gone through this massive trajectory from 0 to 18, and you've never been around people who are financially successful. And then you wonder why most people are broke. You wonder why that is going to sound, oh, some people go and click off this video. I don't care. I need to tell you the truth. The reason why most people don't have the money that they want to make is because they've spent their entire lives around people that don't have money. And then what they did was they listened to the media, and the media told them that money is what? Bad. Money is for bad people, people that do negative things. Check out all the movies that you watch. Paid in Full, Boiler Room, yeah, all of these movies have negative connotations, about rich people. So subconsciously, what does that do to the human mind? When it says, well, I don't want to do too much, I don't want to get too much money, I just want enough to just be able to support me. I just want enough to put a roof over my head, drive a nice car, and I will be okay. Which is why most people get to a much smaller percentage of what they're actually capable of creating. Why? Because they've grown up in a notion that you need to have just enough money to survive. And if you think that way, you're only going to get probably maybe 70-80% of the way there, when really your capability is way up here. It's going way above like where the camera can see my hand going right now. Okay, so you've got to start to reposition your mentality and then move away from what society has taught you around money in order to accelerate to where you want to go with money. Because look, the more money you make, the more people you can help. Consider it that way, because the more people you can help, that's going to fuel you up, it's going to fill you up, and it's going to fill up the people that you serve, not only your family, but also as you start to grow more wealth and you accelerate through these levels that I'm going to share with you, you also then start to be able to fill up more people's cups, start to fuel the ambition, the ingenuity of more people around you. So that is F, faith. Second is R. This is where you are reliable. You are relying on other people, i.e. your boss, i.e. your clients, in order to then pay for what it is that you want. You're relying on them to pay for your house, or to pay for your car, or to pay for all of the bills that you have, and that is level number 2. Again, everybody joins this part of the journey. The key is, my friends, not to stay there. You don't want to stay there, and you want to make sure that you don't just stay here at this part of the video and click off, because you want to get to M, where I'm going to show you how you start to accelerate through those levels. So make sure that you stick around until the end. Now, after you've got past the reliability stage of relying on usually a sole income, then you get to E, which is the emergency cushion. You get the emergency cushion, where you've now managed to put aside 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Now, in most books around money, they will tell you to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. And I want to reposition and challenge that thought process for a moment. Instead of saving it, can you invest it in a space where it's generating more cash flow for you? In order to, especially if you're an entrepreneurial thinker. Now, if you're a very employee mindset, safe, risk-averse person, saving could be a good thing. If you're a very entrepreneurial driven person, and especially if you're young and you're innovative and you've got loads of creative ideas, then I'll consider investing it so that you can make that money work for you and make that money grow and compound. Once you pass the emergency cushion phase, you want to get into what we call escape the rat race phase. This is the second E. Escape the rat race. This is where you don't just have 3 to 6 months, but you have a much longer time frame. You have 1 to 5 years invested. So if you generate £50,000 a year, it means that you have at least £50,000 in terms of your net worth, in terms of what you have invested in assets. Well, you may be asking, what are those assets, Jazz? So those assets could be stocks. It could be something like the S&P 500, invested in there through a platform like Vanguard could do really well and grow it to about 8%, 8 to 10% a year for you. It could be property. It could be investing in a business that is generating cash flow for you. Yeah, but you want to have a position where you have at least 1 to 5 years invested so that you can move up these levels. Now, as you move into the R's, this is the next phase where you really want to be. This is the minimum phase that by the time you spent 10 years working, you should be at R. And this is going to piss some people off, because a lot of people ain't going to like it, because most people have been working, that are watching this video, have been working for probably more than 10 years, or near to 10 years, and they're nowhere near D. And D is all around financial defense. Financial defense. What does that mean? That means that by the time that you have invested 10 years or so, and that's a rough number, by the way, but by the time you've invested 10 years of your working life into earning money, you should be on financial defense, meaning that you should have become what we call financially independent. Your assets are able to pay for your expenses. So let's share a short example. If your expenses, your rent, your car bill, your transportation to work, your food, your fuel costs, all of that sort of stuff comes up to £3,000 a month, let's say. So that means that your assets, your property portfolio, your stocks portfolio, your investments should pay you a minimum of what? £3,000 every month. Once you get here, ladies and gentlemen, it gives you a massive level of freedom. It gives you a massive level of financial consciousness and clarity. I read a book and it calls it F-U money. It means that, look, your boss says something to you at work, you're like, hey ho, get out of here, I'm out, I don't need to be here, baby, I'm gone. When you have that level of certainty, not only does it make you feel more financially comfortable, but also it makes you go for bigger opportunities, because you're like, I can take more risk, I can be more confident, I can tell that person to don't interrupt me when I'm speaking in the business meeting, because I ain't afraid. And when you ain't afraid, you are more bold, you you are courageous. You go for what you want. You go for those higher paying opportunities because you know whatever happens, you got it. You got it. When I started scaling my first business, I realized that I was starting to generate some cash. I think I was starting to generate about 6 figures when I was maybe 20, 21 years old. And I was like, I've got to put this aside. And I started investing it into property. By the time I was 23, I invested £90,000 into my first property. How did I do that and why? Most people in my position, you might sound glamorous and like, oh my goodness, you were making a lot of money. Of course you were going to invest it. I know people that made so much more money than I did when I was young. And some of them were older than me. Some of them were around the same age. And they didn't invest their money. So they didn't have the freedom of choice that I had in order to then do the things that I've done. And I'm saying that to you not to brag or boast. I'm just saying that to you because look, you have a certain amount of money coming in every single month and you're probably not utilizing it in the most effective way that's going to help you to move forward. Why do you go on 2 holidays a year and you don't buy 2 freaking properties a year? Why do you go and buy Louboutin shoes and you like 3-4 times every year and buy Gucci and Armani and all of these luxury items and you don't have property assets? That's weird to me. That's completely strange. Invest in assets that can then pay for the liability. Stop gathering your friends around and having a freaking liability party. This attitude around money is what's gonna get you to D. Financial defense. Whatever happens, I'm good. I'm sorted. I am financially secure. That's where you want to be. And you do that by investing in assets early and often. What are your assets? Make a choice. Go stocks, go property, or go both. All right? Don't go into these, unless you really know and understand the market, don't go into this crypto dipto stuff, right? Unless you are a specialist in that field, unless you are really, really knowing of what goes on in those marketplaces. Right? Play it safe, play it simple, but also take what we call calculated risk. Okay, cool, I've got a little bit in crypto, cool, but that's a tiny percentage of my net worth. Why? Because I know that property and I know that stocks are very reliable and have been so for hundreds of years. And you should be thinking in the same way. Which brings us on to O. So what's next then after you've got financial defense, you've got your assets paying for your expenses? Well, now you get into O, which is financial offense. Now you can be on the front runner. Now you can be Raheem Sterling, dropping left, dropping right shoulder, busting man up on the wing and then swinging that ball in. Side note, I used to coach Raheem Sterling when he was 7. That's my claim to fame. Yay! That was one of my first gigs as a coach. But anyway, you want to be in offense. Offense meaning that not only does your assets pay for your expenses, but it also pays for your lifestyle. What is your lifestyle? Maybe you want to go on 2-3 holidays a year. What does the cost of your lifestyle actually amount to? One of my business partners, Jasmine Naomi, talks about this a lot. She says, well, what is the future life that you want to create and how much is that going to cost you? Well, you've got 2 children, you want to send them to private school. What's that going to cost? Write it down. You want to travel 3 times a year? Go ahead, write it down. What's the cost? You want to go first class? Cool. What's the cost? And then you want to start to calculate what it is that the cost of your lifestyle is now. Maybe that's $5,000 a month. Maybe it's $10,000 a month. Cool. Whatever that number is for you. And then what's your future lifestyle cost? Because ultimately, these numbers can adjust based upon how you're living. Now, I'm fortunate enough to have enough properties and enough assets that can pay for my lifestyle. Now, they can pay for my lifestyle now, but it doesn't necessarily pay for yet the lifestyle that I want to live into in the future, because I want to have, multiple properties in multiple countries and so on and so forth. And I have that, but my property income alone doesn't cover all of that in terms of the future lifestyle that I want to create, which is probably going to cost in the region of £25,000 a month. Okay, cool. I'm not quite there yet. So I'm very, very calculated and measured around what it is that how many assets do I have, what is it bringing in, and what is my lifestyle cost right now, and what's it going to be in the future. You need to project forward forwards in this financial fashion, it will set you apart from 99% of your peers and accelerate you to becoming really financially successful. Now, I have tools that I use in order to become really financially successful. It doesn't matter whether you make £2,000 a month, £20,000 a month, £200,000 a month. You have to be able to track your money, because what you measure gets better. And when you measure it, you're much more likely to be far more astute with it, do better things with your money, which then produce better results for you and accelerate you on this freedom journey. So let's recap to reconstruct where we are. We've got faith, reliability, emergency cushion, escape the rat race, financial defense. Now we are on to offense, and finally, what's next then? You're done, no? Like, your assets pay for everything, you're cool. But there's another level, and I call it the Branson level. I call it made it. This is where you have so much money that you don't even need to consider, not only does it cover you and your lifestyle expenses, but it covers the expenses of your community. It covers the expenses of your next generation. And if you link back to what I explained at the beginning around faith, and now you get to made it, where you have so much money that it can pour into the next generation, now you're creating what we call a financial legacy for your family. And if you do that really well, you can do it not only for your family, but also for an entire community and beyond. So really start to look at money in a different way. Look at money as a blessing, because the more money you have, the more you can bless other people around you. And I want you to really do that. Write it down, pay attention to it, subscribe to this channel, throw that in there on the side because you can. And really start to use money in a way that allows you and the people around you to elevate. Ultimately, what do most human beings want? You want more time, more energy, more money, more freedom, and more peace of mind. I call it time, energy, and peace of mind. You have those things, then you're in a far better position. People will say, well, money's not everything. No, it ain't. Money right up there, because money's going to give you the opportunity to do the things that you truly love to do. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed creating it for you. Please do consider subscribing to this channel for more tips on how to grow your financial success and how to grow your business too. My name's Jazz Rose. You have been absolutely world class, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Peace out.